Here comes the gear. Get it down, get it down.
It seems appropriate that so many space shuttle flights should end here, at the Edwards Air Force Base in the Mojave Desert, because it was also here that Americans first began riding rockets to the stars in the late 1940s. In those days, this place was an Army base called Muroc. The hottest thing in this desert was a rocket plane called the X-1, and the pilot was a young Air Force officer named Chuck Yeager, who was destined to become the world's greatest test pilot.
It was a hectic period. A lot of new breakthroughs coming up and a lot of emphasis on speed, and we were developing weapon systems during that time period.
These were the years immediately after World War II. Yeager's success as a fighter pilot had made him a living legend. From 1943 to 1945, he shot down 13 enemy aircraft, 5 in one mission, including one of Germany's new jet planes. He was only 22 years old. After the war, America began designing planes to fly faster than the speed of sound. All previous attempts to fly this fast had failed, and many pilots had died. Experts thought that this sound barrier was impossible to break, but not Chuck Yeager.
We really didn't know, but there's no way of finding out unless you try, and that's the way we looked at it.
On October 14th, 1947, Yeager piloted the X-1 to a speed of more than 660 miles per hour, or Mach 1. He became the first man to break the sound barrier.
And on the day we broke Mach 1, of course, we opened up an entirely new era. And then nothing left. No more barriers right on into space, and we were quite happy about it.
Yeager's record-breaking flight launched us into a new age. The race for space was on, and while America's attention was focused on the Mercury astronauts, Yeager was quietly setting new records.
And really, I didn't know and could care less about the space program in that I didn't have a degree. And that was one of the prerequisites required for the astronaut program. And so besides, I like to fly, and capsule riding was not flying to me.
Chuck Yeager continued to test fly new aircraft, pushing them to their limits and beyond. One slight mistake out here could cost you your life, but to him, the risk was just part of the job.
That's the way you look at it. You know, if you can talk about it, it's really not that important.
On October 14th, 1940.
Yeager's exploits have made him a national hero and the subject of a new movie, The Right Stuff. The central character in the film is a young Chuck Yeager, played by Sam Shepard. Yeager worked closely with the actor to prepare him for this role. Because the movie deals with the early days of spaceflight, the filmmakers called on Yeager's expertise to recreate these historic flights as accurately as possible. But to retired Brigadier General Yeager, the real-life drama was much different.
Most things like that we look at as just a job, but you can't sell that kind of an attitude in a book or a movie, so it has to be flowered up a little bit, and that's the way it goes.
An ordinary fella.
But to Hollywood and the American public, Yeager is a national hero whose career as a pilot is the symbol of skill and bravery, a shining example of what Tom Wolfe called the right stuff, the stuff of which movies are made.